And you probably just caught my happy jig as we was going live. So good evening and welcome to the IBD Ostomy Support Show. I'm Louise, aka Crohn's Fighting. So tonight we are going to be talking about life after stoma surgery, and we'll also be doing a few shout outs as well, because there's a few people that are going in for surgery tomorrow or have had surgery this week and are now home recovering. So what have I been up to the last couple of weeks? Well, my phone went for a flying trip off of the back of the treadmill last Thursday. I seriously need to get a set of Bluetooth headphones because my phone went wee because I knocked the wires. Been killing myself in the gym. I think I've lost another 6 pounds in the last 3 weeks.
Oh, well done.
What else? I've been working. My daughter's been on half term, so I've been doing my damn hardest to not throttle her because she is getting very moody and very smelly, apparently. Puberty sucks. What else?
She's going to hate you when she's older.
I know, that's the aim.
Louise!
You're being recorded, Louise.
Yeah, well, it's what happens when
it's all right, Maisie, we all love you.
It's when she keeps when she keeps doing the Kevin and Perry grunts at me. So I'm going for Mummy of the Month award. I ordered her some Taylor Swift tickets Tuesday night. I was rather impulsive. I've now got to keep it secret for 3 weeks. And do you know what? I'm more excited. I think I'm going to be more excited than she is by the time she gets the tickets. All that build out, and I swear to God, if she grunts when she opens that box, I'm not gonna. I'm gonna be doing something I may regret. I've been a bit quiet on the blog front. Don't know what I'm doing at the moment. So yeah, other than that, everything is hunky dory. Oh, I see my surgeon on the 3rd of July. So happy days. So we'll find out what the plan of action is and whether they're going to attempt to kill me on the theatre table again. So yay, mate. That's about it for me. So I will pass you over to Steffi.
Hi, I'm Steffi, Colitis to Ostomy. What have I done this week? It was bank holiday, wasn't it, on Monday? So my mother-in-law and her husband came up. They originally wanted to go to the beach, but it was literally like something out of the fog up here. And then it just broke out really nice. They all had fish and chips, and I sat and ate melon on the green. We have 2 greens, but we have like high green and low green because, you know, Great Haitian is very posh. Not really, but it's posh
Make
enough.
sure you're getting your greens.
And then we went for a walk, and Stephen's stepdad used to be a cop around here, and we ended up taking him around bits he ended up losing his bearings completely because he didn't know parts that existed. And then we went up and had a pointless walk up to the farm to find out that they'd closed the cafe. Went to work on Tuesday. What else have I done? Today we did some pottery painting for Father's Day. Went and had lunch at the cafe. Tomorrow I do my first session for exercise on prescription. Take the next step, whatever they want to call it.
Oh, check you out.
The crisis team reckon I shouldn't be paying for it because I'm doing it for mental health, and they're like, mental health is keeping you alive, and if that's going to help you stay alive, then you shouldn't be paying for it. And then the crisis team didn't turn up for 2 days or since. So, you know, well done to you.
It's not the best, is it?
No, they already know that I have no trust in them because they pointed it out when I went to them. I voluntarily went to them last week. So I have that. So I'm going to go to the gym and then I'm going to do some shopping on stuff that I can't really afford. But obviously it's Jacob's birthday party on Saturday, and I'm planning with putting it into action. Is a whole different ball game for me. And then I'm at work, and then it's Jacob's birthday. So that's pretty much. I only work 3 days a week, yet it feels like I'm always there.
What day is Jacob's birthday? What date is that?
The 5th.
The 5th.
Yeah.
He's the 5th of June, isn't he?
Yeah, and he's not Stephen. We don't class him as a brother anymore since we haven't seen him for months. But the kids aren't invited to Stephen's older brother's wedding, so we're not going. And one of the brothers and his wife has basically been tried to get put as pig in the middle and postman. And it's like, why the hell should you have to go post stuff for other people when, and like, it's his older brother's birthday on the same day, so he won't be getting a happy birthday from us. And if he turns up on my door, I'll be telling him to stop darkening my doorstep and stop trespassing. And then I'll phone the police, even though he's a police officer, because it'd be funny. I'm going to be spiteful somehow. And if he turns up and tries to make out that he's amazing, it's not happening.
Did any of you get caught in Tuesday's weather? Did any of you see my Facebook video?
I didn't leave the house, thankfully.
We was playing golf. We had like I think 2 holes left. It was just like a crazy golf thing, but then the heavens did open it.
I thought my mum was going to lose control of the car at one point because I thought, that's going a bit smoothly. Mum went, let's slow down. I
don't think it helped you Instagram story and going, Mum, are we aquaplaning yet? Mum, what's the weather like? And it's like you poor mum's driving, like, really?
But we was laughing. It was a good day.
But yeah, so my little spiteful end to my week there that I just told you about. I'm going to pass you on to Rachel.
Hi, I'm Rachel, rocking 2 Stomas. I wanted to say Crohn's fighting. No, that's not me. Rocking 2 Stomas. Sorry, my battery was like going to die and I had to run off. My week, what have I been up to? Oh, I'm struggling at the moment. I don't really know why. I'm struggling, like, I don't know if it's because I've hit a lull after going away and everything that's happened, and I sort of really busy, and then I've been quiet, and I'm missing Steve, and I'm lonely, but yeah, I don't want to be around anybody, so I don't really know what's quite going on. So I'm just trying to up my kind of self-care and my
I know what it is, I know what it is. You know exactly what it is.
ITV.
She's caught up with all of her work. That's what's happened.
I know, that's what I said.
Now she has no idea what to do with herself.
I know.
Isn't that what I told you, Rachel?
Yeah, I know.
Rachel, watch Pompeii on Channel 5.
Oh, okay.
Don't tell her to watch another programme.
The thing is,
you should be happy she's watching a programme.
Exactly.
Because you were complaining she doesn't watch films without touching a phone. Now she's getting used to watching TV series without touching a phone. Shush you mush.
I'm not saying nothing.
As you probably will be aware, that I kind of bury my head in the sand and like doing lots of work. And now I've caught up, like I'm 2 weeks ahead of the blog. I'm like 3 or 4. I've got some other stuff coming up, but I've caught up, like writing that's supposed to be in August, like, so I have upped it. It's just, I don't know, I'm just a bit wobbly at the moment. I don't really know why, so we'll see. So the thought of traveling or going anywhere just makes me want to cry at the moment, so I know something is a bit off kilter, so I'm just going to try and look after myself. And kids are on my mind at the moment, as they usually are. Like, they come in and out of troughs, and I think I keep having dreams at the moment, so maybe it's to do with that. But apart from that, I'm okay. I'd just like to say, like, Graham messaged last night about he's got his operation, I think, is it next week, Graham? So I know that you're going through, it's difficult, and you're a bit anxious because they're not really talking. I've got my surgeon appointment on the 11th of June. I think that's why I'm feeling a bit worried, because obviously we're talking about the Barbie butt surgery, but with me it really is extremely dangerous, and my surgeon is, well, because it might be causing a sepsis, they need it to be removed, but then he's worried that it's going to cause more complications. So I'm kind of thinking, well, I'm having a good run. And I'm a bit like this. I don't really know what I should do. So I think it's more to do with that. And maybe it'll be okay once the decision's made. Steve doesn't think he's going to go for it, but I think something needs to be done, because I'm losing so much blood from my back passage, and I've lost a lot of weight, and it's like, I'm eating loads, but I'm still losing weight. I'm like 59 kilos now. and I was like 12 stone like back 8 months ago. So we'll just see what happens. But I'll be okay. I'll be all right. I'll get back to my normal positive self. I'm positive. I just feel just a bit in a lull at the moment.
Well,
like
Rach,
I'm missing.
Are you going to go in there armed with the questions and that you want to ask? Or are you going to go in with your arguments for and against?
I think with mine is slightly different to most people's because I have literally had so many operations on it, and because I've had so many complications with the TPN, all of it in every operation I've had. I think it is literally, he's just said that he's asked St. Mark's and they've said no. That's how sort of risky it is, and it would only have to be him because he's the only one that's touched me. So it's sort of, I'm going to ask my questions, but I'm going to try not to manipulate the answer because I'm great at that with doctors. I use their words back at them, and I'm great at getting my own way. I'm really good at it. So I'm trying not to do that, and I'm trying to like put my
I love how
forward.
Steve's just sat there like nodding his head like she's good at getting her own way.
I am with the doctors, but I think, but what this time I've asked Mum and Dad to come with me because if we make the decision, it's so, he said this would be one of his most risky ones he's done, and I knew that anyway. So it's like my parents need to be involved because, you know, they need to be involved in the decision process, and Steve, but he'll be in Birmingham. But like, it's a decision because I live on my own and I'll need support afterwards. So I think I'm just going to see. I'm not going to try and whatever happens, I'll just, you know, whatever happens.
Which one are you going to for the appointment?
It's Bournemouth. It's my local one.
Oh, you Bournemouth, okay.
Yeah, but it's he's a great surgeon. He's now the clinical lead of the whole department, so he's great. It's just he just turned around and said to me, and I asked another surgeon who was with him. I said, "Would you do it?" And he went, "Mr. Howell don't want to touch you. I'm not going to touch you." And it's like he said, "Nobody wants to touch you because you are so difficult." So I know what's going to happen, and I got a feeling he's going to say no. But if he does say no, I need some sort of steroid suppository or something to stop the bleeding because it's getting ridiculous, and I am struggling with that. The pain is quite bad, and everything that comes with it. So I think once that's sorted, then maybe it'll be a bit better. But I'm okay. I'll be all right. I'll rally around and be my positive self. I just hit a bit of a wall. But Steve, what have you been up to?
Hello, you guys. I'm Baghdadi, and I'm not saying nothing. No, actually, oh, nice one. No, I've been in quite a bit of pain just recently. I've been, I got a chest infection, which is causing a cough, which I always get laryngitis with the chest infection, hence the sexy voice. The chest infection pretty much cleared up. Still got the laryngitis. My hernia is getting bigger, but I'm booked in for my operation. It's getting a lot more painful as well. I'm having a few issues with it now. I haven't really done much, to be honest. I've been finished from work for a week. Go back on Monday. I've done a couple of bike rides. Went out drinking the weekend.
Ruined your sofa.
Yeah, it weren't me. That was a friend of mine. Smashed my settee to bits.
How the hell did they do that?
Oh no, I don't even want to talk about it. It's too upsetting.
Please don't tell me they just sat on it and it broke.
Yeah, they just sat on it and it went snap.
What,
and he's only, yeah, my settee. I fixed it anyway. It's all good, and I found my cash card in the process. Found my cash card. So that was
blaming it on Rachel.
No. Someone did try to. That is a mate of mine. She said that, and I thought, nope, I'm not mentioning that. No, that's it. Me really. I haven't really done too much, to be fair. Just been sort of trying to relax and get better. But I seem to get laryngitis every time I get a chest infection, which is, my immune system's shot. So I don't know. It's just. It kind of always happens, always lose my voice, always have coughing fits.
Yeah, and ahhing whether I have mild asthma from when I get a cough, it's really bad, and my chest gets tight when I run and cycle. And
you're making me want to cough now.
Rachel was at the other end of me having coughing fits in the bath the other night, and
in the bath.
Oh yeah, Rachel and I talked. Well, I talked to Rachel in the bath.
I thought you was on about is the other end of the bath.
No. So I've got to have a spirometer something where you blow into one of them things.
Oh, to measure your peak flow?
I don't know. Probably.
The
I
blowpipe.
don't know.
A blowpipe.
Well, yeah, because they said it was like 320, and like they took into consideration that I have a few fags and I currently had a cough and.
Thing is, when you do smoke,
But,
they blame everything on smoking. You could hurt your leg, and they'll go,
And now
he's
get
still
blamed on
smoking, he's
smoking.
still smoking. Yeah, so you know what it is when you put your cigarette out with your foot? It's
I mean,
this mad.
this is a GP that I don't like to see, but she was really good. She was just like, she's seen me for mental health before, and she was pretty good. She just was like, she understood it was you doing that in replace of the sertraline. Because I mean, you guys will all have seen how bad I got, like, with how just not interacting or with anything.
Yeah.
But you know, Rachel's breaking everything.
That's why.
Steve, can I ask you, what is getting worse about your hernia? Is it the pain, the size? Is it catching? Are you getting a blockage?
It's growing. When I cough now, one hand's holding my mouth, and the other hand's holding my hernia. You know, and it hurts when I cough. It hurts when I sneeze. It feels like it's forcing its way out. But because I've got a hernia there, you know, I'm pressing it as I'm sneezing or as I'm coughing, and it hurts. It feels like it's widening. So it's getting progressively worse. Obviously, I've got a date when my op's happening, so you know, at least there's something, you know, in place. But yeah, it's definitely increased in size. Now, what they've said is they're going to repair it. He does it a different way than most ops. He does it like a front and a back layer of mesh, but he does them at an angle, which is saying the rates of success are really good. So you know, we'll see how we get on. And he's basically said he's going to try and keep my stoma where it is. If he can't, he wouldn't know until he's opened me up. And then, you know, if he can't move, then he'll move it to the other side. But you know, you get the chances of getting another hernia then are increased. So you know, you can end up with two.
And I'm going to be on the other side of it's going to be you going on for the 10-hour operation. I'm going to know what it feels like. I've been blissfully unaware the other side.
Yeah. You'll be coming to mine after yours if you have yours anyway.
Yeah, but I'll be there for yours.
So that's it, really. I mean, it's I'm kind of wearing support wear every day now, where I was wearing it just before. I was just wearing it to the gym and stuff, but now I'm wearing it as a matter of course.
The thing is, the minute you get a hernia, now I don't have a hernia, so I'm probably gonna sound like one of them hoity-toity people that just don't know what they're talking about. But if I got a hernia, I would live in my support wear regardless of whether I was just sat at home. Just because knowing my luck, which I have very bad luck, I'd laugh and that'd be it. Because after my C-section, I've got a little like lump, which is like, I don't know. One person said it was an incisional hernia, but it's not. It's just scar tissue's just formed funny. Stephen used to make me laugh so bad, and I used to literally hold a cushion to my tummy.
Yeah.
And if you're more likely to have played it than any of the others if you play games, but like Grand Theft Auto 5 came out the day that Lyra Beth was born, and it's a lot of black humour, and
it's my
it was really funny. And yeah, and I was literally holding my stomach with a pillow because I was laughing so much. And if that hurt then from just having a straight, no issue cut, what would a hernia be like? It's like
you'd walk into the girl that is holding onto wood right now.
90% of the time, it doesn't cause me any issues at all. But you know, let's just say I have a big dinner or a cough or a sneeze, then it's starting to hurt more now. It's like there's definitely been some sort of movement. But I've also noticed.
Does yours pulse? Do you feel like when you cough or you sneeze or you move funny that it pulses and that pulse causes the pain?
Yeah. I feel it's forcing its way out each time.
Yeah, but you'll find as well as well as the hernia, especially with the parastomal and with how long you've had it as well, you'll find that some of what's causing the pain is not so much the hernia, but it's the scar tissue that goes with it that's attached and is obviously moving.
Well,
with
I'm glad I got
cramps.
the concave on because they, you know, with the shape of it, I haven't had a leak since I started. I mean, when did we go to Cardiff?
October.
October.
I reckon about June, about May, June. I started trialing them.
That's brilliant.
So that's like, I mean, I was having about 3 to 4 leaks a month. I was, and now I'm getting like none. I haven't had none so far. Fingers crossed. What I have noticed is though, you know, like the mucus movements that we still have.
Yeah.
I was having like Kate, probably one every 2 days. Now it's once every day, and it's only like I don't know, half an egg cup. But when it decides that it's coming out, I've got a window of about 30 seconds to get to the loo because my pelvic floor's gone. I'm standing there cross-legged and then I'm doing a penguin run to the toilet. It's ridiculous.
No, seriously, it is.
I can sympathise.
It's you know, so there's something. So that's my second operation. Well, no, that's my big one. That's the Barbie bum, and then the repair on the way out. That's why they're doing it. But so I'm kind of glad that it's all come at the same time.
But what's weird is that, like, Steve has that, and then I have the opposite issue where I have to digitally stimulate because my arse doesn't work, so it doesn't come out. But if I don't do it, it accumulates, and it's like pressure in my tummy. So we got like the opposites going on.
I'll just stop dead and go.
Yeah, your eyes go like that.
Steve, I'll make you laugh. Last Tuesday, I took Maisie to Brownies and I went for a walk. And I got in. The minute I got in, my phone beat. Ben, we're down at the clock house. Did you want to come down for a quick drink and then we'll go and get Maisie from Brownies at 7 o'clock? So I've gone and met Ben and my friend down at the clock house. I've had a lime and soda. And Ben's going to me, he's going, oh, do you want to come to Brownies with me to come get Maisie out? I was going, I can't go to Brownies. And he's going, why can't you go to Brownies? I said, well, I can't say it because I'm in front of her friend. And I'm not going to say, well, I think I'm pretty much going to shit myself in the next 10 minutes if I don't get home. So no word of a lie. The clock house from my house is probably about a 4-minute walk. I've legged it. All the running that I've been doing, I legged it home. I've got up those flat stairs. I didn't even lock my front door. I literally left the keys on the outside of my front door and had to get into the bathroom that quick to go.
There is no way on earth that I would be able to run anywhere. I literally walking like, I don't know, like a Lego. Like a Lego person.
That was me when I had a J pouch.
Ridiculous.
That was me every time I wanted to go to the toilet with a J pouch, which is probably one of the main reasons I hated my J pouch with a passion. And I'm so glad I went permanent.
Yeah.
I don't have any of your mucus issues, nothing like that.
Oh yeah.
I am the only one on this show that has a Barbie bum.
Oh my god, yes you are. Well, Steve will be joining you.
Yeah, for now. Yeah, we'll have to have a separate group thing.
So the running laughing joke for that one was Ben said to me, he said that really would have been a Brownies moment. You'd have gone to pick Maisie up from the chair.
But that's not technically true, is it, Louise?
No, it's not, is it?
It's not technically true. It wouldn't be a brown. It'd be a greeny whitey moment.
It'd be a see-through moment. A see-through bloody.
It would technically look like you've wet yourself moment from the back end and not the front. Sorry for those being graphic, but if you've got an ileostomy or a colostomy, you have that in place. It happens.
So what's the topic about today?
Life after stoma surgery.
That's where
we don't need a topic today. The topic today is today.
Today. Well, what do you think then for those that are watching that are working? What would you say tips are for returning to work after stoma surgery?
Steffi,
take as long as you can off paid.
That's true. That is true. Tell at least one person at work, be it like your line manager or your direct, or your proper manager, because if you don't tell somebody in management, that someone's going to try and screw you if you have to take time off for a blockage, or you need to run to the toilet because your bag suddenly filled up, or you've got a leak. Somebody needs to know. I've told everyone at work, so I'm just like, oh yeah, I don't care. I'm loud and proud, blah, blah. We've got like somebody that like I did to my medication training, I've been told, oh no, you're not allowed to change a stoma bag. And because you need proper training. And I looked at her and went, how's 2 years of having one for you? There's proper training. And she's like, oh yeah, well you still can't do it. I'm like, all right, whatever. I'm probably sure I could do it better than you. But that's just anybody that doesn't have a stoma, because we live with one, not just this person directly, because she was really lovely. But yeah, do what Steve says. Take as much time as you can. After my J-pouch surgery, I took 4 weeks off. I was bored out of my skull, went back to work, split my scar open twice, and then had to have more time off. This time, I took 3 months off, and some of it was unpaid, like half pay in the end, but because of all the hospital admissions beforehand.
I think I had about 8 weeks off, I think. But
I milked
obviously I had a big scar, but the last 2 weeks I felt perfectly fine. I wanted to go to the gym. I couldn't go to the gym because loads of lads from my work used the gym. So you couldn't be seen. Even if my doctor said you need to go in the gym, just do some light walking on the treadmill. I thought anyone sees you in the gym from work, even if you're just walking on the treadmill, they're going to be like, once you hear the words, he's fine, he's all right in the gym, you know, you should be at work. But I came back to work, and they graduated my return. It was like, I don't know, 4 hours for the week, then 5, and it went back up to the 8 or the 9. Still trying to drag it out a bit.
I didn't do that. I went straight back into lone working full time.
It depends what sort of work it is, Steph. But
you
still should be graduated.
Yeah, staggered. I couldn't do. I was as lone working when I had my surgery at the job I did, because I've changed jobs since. But you can't. There was no graduated, no staggered, because we had 12-hour lone working shifts, and they tried to get me done. Tried to get rid of me when I had my miscarriage. And they tried to do a sickness disciplinary on the miscarriage. I was like, nah, not happening. So I just went straight back in as full time, because I knew it wasn't worth it. Everyone else that I worked with, that place, knew it wasn't worth it.
I mean, I think it's sort of company discretion. If you've got a decent company, you know, that care about their own, I don't know, how they look in the public eye, they'll bend over backwards to help you.
I worked for a charity, Steve.
Really?
Yeah.
That's
at the time, I worked for a charity. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know.
No, I did. I worked for the National Autistic Society.
Oh, wow.
Which is the biggest autism charity in the UK, and they suck as employers, and I can say that since they're not my employers anymore. I've had some amazing employers. These ones seem to be all right, which is good. I've told everyone that I've got mental health issues and that I have DBT, and some of them have looked at me like, you're going to have every Tuesday off now for 6 months, or like, you're going to have to start late. And it's like, everyone knew about it before I started. Like, you don't have to tell people about your mental health, but if you're going to have to go into therapy, it's worth it. If you've got IBD, if you know that surgery may be on the cards, it's worth telling somebody. Every single job I've ever had knew about my illness, except one.
I think
I got really sick.
Graham,
I kind of lost the job through my IBD. I was working this job for about 6 years, and I was order picking for a drinks distribution place. We just picked pallets of beer, put them onto the wagon. That was my job. I was on mornings, and then they did the timings. Now my OCD made me, every single pallet of beer that I picked was correct. Didn't really need to be checked again, but I wasn't the quickest. But everything was spot on. You didn't really need to check my pallets; they were spot on. But then I started to suffer with frequent toilet visits. I mean, you go to the toilet, come out of the toilet, and 10 minutes later you're rushing back there again, and it started happening regular. I didn't really tell anyone at work, and then they started to do these KPIs, which is like timing on how long it takes you to pick against someone else. And of course, I was right down there. And then they basically said to me that we're going to put you back on the afternoon shift because of your timings are not up to scratch. So you can either take your redundancy or you can go back on the afternoon shift. Well, the thought of going back on the afternoon shift, I'd have lasted 10 minutes and I'd have knocked someone out because there were a bunch of idiots on that shift. It really was. And the thought of afternoons again. I just told everyone that I'd got a job at the Jag, just to shut everyone up. And then I got a job at the Jag. And you know what? It was an agent. I was working for the agency, and they were absolutely fantastic. They couldn't do enough to sort of help me out. I told them straight away. I was going to sue the original company, but when all the solicitors' letters started coming through saying if you lose, you're going to be liable for these costs and these costs, and I thought, well, just write it off as a bad job. That'll do.
Obviously, I had stoma surgery and returned to work, but I had a bit longer off with mine because of the open wounds and because of the bleeding vac machine and everything else. And I did a staggered return to work, and they used to give me 15 minutes for every hour that I worked as a break. So in case I'd had a leak or my bag had leaked whilst I was at my desk, then if I didn't take the 15 minutes for 2 hours, then if I had a leak, then I had half an hour to go to the toilets, get myself sorted, get changed and get back to my desk and not have to worry about missing a call or missing something, because they gave me that allowance.
That's really good.
But I
tell you
think
what. Sorry.
No, I think tips for returning to work are take stoma kit with you. Always have spares, because you never know when it's going to happen. A spare set of clothes. And the next best advice I can give you, you can get the tubes of the travel soap detergent. It's nothing special, but it's just like a little tube that's pretty much got washing powder in it, and it's a godsend for rinsing out the clothes that you've leaked on, just so you can rinse them out in the sink whilst you're at work in the toilets and just bag them up until you can get them home and get them in the washing.
Another good bit of advice, just 1 second, is when you're phoning in sick, use the word diarrhea, because there's no one on earth that knows how to spell it. So they'll have to Google that.
I know how to spell it.
Those that have suffered with it enough know how to spell it. D-I-A-R-R-E-O-H. Or have I missed an A out there?
I find all of it. This is quite a hard topic for me, because I hardly talk about my work. So I worked in a hospital in radiotherapy and oncology, like a job that I absolutely loved. Like I loved. It was a really difficult job and working with cancer patients, but I loved it, and I wanted to do it from a really young age. And then when I was 20, I got ill at 20, and then when I worked in Bristol for a year, and I did my degree, and because I had Campylobacter, and I managed to get my degree. I got a 2-1, and it was an awful year, but I managed to do it. And I worked in Bristol, and it was I loved it, but my bladder was failing and the bowel was failing, and I still managed to work. And it's really tough for me because I haven't worked since I was 22, and it was. I absolutely loved my job, and I just felt like a failure. Like I stopped working before my stomas, because life for me before my stomas was awful. Now I'm volunteering more. I'm working as a consultant for Coloplast, and I'm doing more stuff. I am doing a lot more stuff, and it's nice being back in the kind of a different work environment. But if I was to do what Steffi or Steve did, my body couldn't do it. I couldn't physically go somewhere every day and do that. I don't know if it's because of added complications or different stuff, but my body couldn't do that. But I can do at home stuff. But it's mad, because I help support double baggers, and a lot of them have stomas due to radiotherapy damage. And I worked in radiotherapy, so for me, I've done a whole 360-degree turn. And working doesn't always mean paid work. It can mean in any capacity, whether it's a blog, whether it's like so Graham's just started his blog as well. Steffi, do you know?
G-Man.
That's it. G-Man.
G-Man. Bag.
I know it's G-Man. Bagman. No.
G-Man's the Bagman.
That's it.
See, I'd suggested G-Man's Journeys, but he didn't go with that. He's a G-Man. I see. G-Man, you're going to have to switch it up a bit.
Who else? A shout out to Amy College, because she's at home recovering, isn't she, after her bar surgery?
She had her Barbie butt as well.
Yeah. She's home now. She's in today. It's day 6 or day 7. She is now.
All these
I got sent home at day 4.
No, I'll be there next. You
know, day 4. And mine wasn't just to have that bit sewn up. I didn't have a stump or anything. I didn't have a stoma. I had J pouch, and it was just all of it removed, sewn up, stoma. Home after 4 days.
Wow.
But another tip.
Did you heal well though, Steffi?
Yeah, I did actually. I bled for about 2 weeks, on and off. But I didn't stop. I had like 4 days at home where I didn't do much, and then I started going to my mum's, and then we started going for walks. We were doing like 2-3 mile walks with a dog and Rara, and at one point I was walking with Rara on my shoulders. I don't do sitting. I don't do well after surgery. Like work surgery, I need to be doing stuff. But another tip is the Vanilla Blush prescription knickers have the pocket. The pocket is actually fantastic for keeping leaks. So you've got a little bit of leeway before getting it on your clothes. So I wear mine when I'm going to work, and then I wear maternity trousers over the top.
When you say leaks, you want about front or back?
Front.
Ostomy leaks.
Okay.
I have a Barbie butt. I can't leak from behind.
Sorry.
I have
See, there is a program.
I have
It's
the.
right. We was just
talking
talking about
the gym.
I
I use the
like
VB cotton knickers for the gym because they stop the sweat from getting onto your bag and the base plate.
But they're really they are really good in that respect. It stops your bag flapping about a bit if you've got that worry and you don't want to just tuck them in. Like, I actually only prefer the Vanilla Blush NHS knickers. I'm not a big fan of their other products personally, but I love their NHS prescription knickers.
and I do.
And Nicola knows this. She knows that I absolutely love her NHS stuff. And
it's breathable though, isn't it? It's cotton.
And
it's something.
And it's cotton, yeah.
Well, if you used to wear the vest and the boxers together, the level of support you get is ridiculous. It's really good. Obviously, if it's a really hot sunny day, you don't want to be wearing all that. But it still allows your stoma to work as normal.
That's the only thing with some of the stoma support stuff, especially in the summer, the sort of material that it's made out of. If you stuck yourself in a sauna with all the ostomy support wear on, so say a pair of knickers like the full-on Spanx, along with a support vest and then a belt over the top of that, you'd probably come out about a stone lighter from the amount of sweat that you'd lose from wearing them.
I like the Vanilla Blush boxes. Like I like Pompous boxes, but I like the Vanilla Blush boxes. I got given a size 12, which fit really well, and because they don't have pockets, I don't get on with the pockets, and I find the same stuff it contains if there is going to be a leak, but I've not leaked for ages.
How far?
I really like the Comfort t-shirts. I don't think they're not this. They are the same sort of material in support wise, but they're not. I don't sweat. I don't feel too constricted, and I use them when I go running or when I'm cycling to work. I think they're fantastic. But there's a reason why there are so many different companies out there, because we're all so different. We all have different needs, and all the companies understand that. And yes, they are competition with each other, but you don't hear them slagging each other off. Well, I actually heard one company slag them all off, but that's not Vanilla Blush and it's not Comfort. But
there is room for competition. All competition is going to improve all the competitors, isn't it?
Rachel, Steve, so can I ask, how far down do the boxers come on the legs?
Oh, they go about with mine. They're about 2-3 inches from the knee. They're really long.
You're short.
Female
short.
Yeah, how far do the female ones go down?
I think I haven't got the female ones, I had the male ones, but I think from Nicola's picture they go down. But the companies that we don't talk about, we haven't really touched upon, is CUI Wear, Support X, and the other one.
Support X is shit. Sorry, but CUI Wear are pretty good from what I've heard.
CUI Wear, like so I think CUI Wear is one of the biggest of the stoma companies. I think because most hospitals get, if you say you've got a hernia, they will get a nurse to come out and measure you up for that, and I like that aspect of it.
I'd never even heard of it.
I prefer the others.
I've never heard of it either.
For hernia belt, CUI Wear, my Bournemouth Hospital use them, and when I went to the ostomy days and I spoke to them, it seemed to be that most nurses have a contact see you and get somebody to come out, and they kind of, if you go to your stomatist, they will usually advise them or get somebody to come see you. I don't know if Comfizz or Vanilla Blush will ever offer that.
My hospital, it's Supportex. We had them at it's supposed to be biannual, but we haven't had one this year. Open day, which was literally like 3 weeks after my surgery, and Supportex were there, and they came to my house. At the open day, they were slagging off Comfizz, they were slagging off Vanilla Blush, and there was a Vanilla Blush stand just 2 stands down. I'm like, well, that's a bit unprofessional. And if you go back far enough in my blog, you'll read the only negative review I've ever written. And and they came to my house. They complained that my 2-year-old was still in bed. She turned up late. She slagged off the companies again. And I remember they rang me up, and I was like, do you know what? If you're gonna slag off other companies, I don't want to do business with you.
It doesn't bide well, does it?
There's no need.
So can I just ask, do the boxers have the pocket on the inside?
No. Oh. No. But you know what? They came. My boxers will literally come up to there, and they'll come up to my chest, just nearly up to my chest. And down to, I don't know, 2 inches from my knee.
Yeah, I'm just working out if it'd be good.
I mean, even with a hernia, they're quite flattening.
Yeah, I was just trying to work out whether they'd be any good for me for gym.
I could send you a pair if you want.
Are you sure?
Yeah. Oh, he's got loads. You say he's given me loads. He's got loads.
Nicola has looked after. She's looked after me, Nicola has. I'll tell you what, she's a darling.
She has. Aww. To be fair, she has.
Thing is, the way Nicola is with you is the way Comfizz are with me. Like,
that's what I mean.
With the new products, I get to try them out. I get to look at them. I get to help with any designing if I'm down there. Not designing, but input.
Professionality. It's being professional. I love Vanilla Blush, and you know what? I'm not gonna slag off any of the other companies. It's not me. It doesn't look good. You know what I mean? And I've tried the other companies as well. Do you know what I mean?
The only one I will ever slay is Supportex, and that was because they were so goddamn rude.
Oh no, I wasn't having a go at you then, Steph.
Sorry. Graham's just put to you and I think Louise has just seen it. Do you and Steve share your Stoma underwear? Is that
no, he's just sent me. You could
send
I've
got a lovely Jasmine Stacey bra that I wear.
Yeah, you could send Steve your underwear. I'm not sending Steve my underwear. Oh, can we just add as well that Jasmine Stacey does actually have a massive, great big sale on at the moment with some of her newer line and some of her older line, and it's literally down by about 50% from what the price was. So if you want to take a look at that, then that would be great. We'll put that up on the show later. I think I posted it up in the IBD and Ostomy support blogs last night as well. So yeah, Stoma life after surgery. So support wear. It's another thing that you need to possibly
invest
in. Bless you.
Oh, you're getting blessed all over you, aren't you?
That's because she's so sweet. So what else? Oh, it's going to be awkward silence.
We like the silences. The silence is golden.
So what did you say? The question was life after stoma surgery. So, does anybody on the chat want us to talk about in regards to life, whether it's intimacy, whether it's body image, whether it's work, and whether it's how you move forward, how you start accepting your stoma? Does anybody want us to talk about anything in particular?
Graham's just said life after surgery doesn't stop you doing what you want to do.
Absolutely.
Now, that is a very good point for Graham to make, because I think to a degree there's so many different levels of acceptance. So one could be the acceptance of just literally having the op done and just pretending it doesn't exist and going on your way in life and just plodding along. Then obviously you've got the ones that are a bit more open about it and take photos and post it up, and I've got a bag, it's great, it's this, it's that, it's the other. You've got those that go skydiving, or you've got the ones that, unfortunately, there's some people that, yes, they've had the stoma surgery and yes, it has saved their life, but they're housebound, that they're having continuous issues with their skin, bags aren't sticking. life isn't as great as they thought it may be.
That
and
was
it's
me
upsetting.
before. And it's not, and you can move on from it. Like that's exactly, you guys didn't know me before then, but it was hard. And I was a shell of who I was. But Louise, that's a really good point. Because it's like,
I think 9 times out of 10, we create a lot of problems ourselves in our mind. You know, and we kind of like, once you start yourself on that road, it's difficult to pull yourself out and to become more, you know, we all post on the sites that we're on the forums that we're on, and occasionally we'll post on our own pages, you know, but we're less likely to do that than on the forums. But I think with me, occasionally I'll post something, you know, but I kind of don't want my normal friends. Can I say that? My normal friends that don't have nothing wrong with them.
I don't post on my personal Facebook at all.
I sometimes feel like they think, oh, he's going on about that again. Now, that's probably me just thinking that, you know, and it's up to me whether I do or whether I don't. I like to every now and again, or to do a sponsorship thing where people know what it's for, you know. But because if you think about it, we're posting on all these forums and we all know about it anyway. So who are we actually making aware?
For me, it's different. I've been sick for 20 odd years. It's Stephen says it's hard. He thinks it's hard for me to accept that I'm healthy now, and that I'll find new things to be sick of. To an extent, it's probably true. But then now I've not got the pain in my bowel. Maybe the other bits that, I mean, my joints and my lower back don't count because I've always had them. They've always been part and parcel of my IBD. But sometimes it's like maybe the things that used to be there are coming forward. So for me, I've always been honest on my Facebook, on my personal page, because I've not known any different. Like you lot all have. I mean, obviously Rachel and Louise were younger than, like, it's not like, oh, we've just got a stoma. But Natalie and I, it's all we've ever known. We've never not known being sick. And so it's kind of just normal for us to post stuff like that on our normal pages.
I think,
but I completely understand why it's not for other people, you know, because you weren't this person all the time before.
Yeah.
I think with some of it, I think it is just dependent on the person, their mentality, the way that they go through life, the way that they deal with things in general. I'm being honest, we've seen some stories in some of the stoma groups, and you can't help but have your heart go out to some of them because they thought having this done is going to improve their life and help their life, when sometimes that's not the case. But those cases are very few and far between. I think sometimes you've got to focus on the fact that with stoma surgery as a whole, especially if it has improved quality of life, even though, yes, you have your insides outside, I think you've got to concentrate on the fact that, one, it's saved your life, two, it's given you your life back, it's improved your quality of life, it's made you be able to do things like have a child, go on holiday, get married, find love, you know. There's so many.
Find a purpose. Look at Rachel. You know, she's found a purpose, she's found a job, and she's found love.
Oh, look, you have my little.
Thing is, you know what? I would never. See, I'm so grateful for my stoma, and for my surgeon that did it, and for my, you know, for my doctor, my consultant that told me to have it done. I just constantly remind myself of how bad I was before, how poorly I'd let myself get. You know, I wish there was someone there just like me, the 2 years previous, that could have said to me, Steve, have this and you'll feel like this, probably.
The problem is...
There's no guarantees, but I suffered for the last 2 years. I was in absolute agony. And then all of a sudden, I felt better. And I'm 48 now. I felt like you're going to take 15 years off me straight away. I felt like a child again, and I thought, you know what? I didn't realise I could feel this well. And that was
Stephen would agree with you. Absolutely agree with everything you've just said.
But the problem
sorry, Rachel.
That's no, carry on. That's all right. No, carry on.
Stephen said that if he knew me getting better with having a stoma, we'd have opted for it in the June rather than me trying to opt for it in the October and then having to wait till the April. But that was all I was going to say, Rachel.
That's okay. Yeah. However, I think we need to keep in mind that because you guys see a lot of IBD now, because I'm in the ostomy and double baggers, I see a lot of cancer and a lot of other reasons where these people are well, and then they have their bags, they get the diagnosis, have treatment, and they're poorly. So I think from what I see, there's a big discrepancy. If you're ill before, you can see how it's ill before. The same as some people have their urostomies due to overactive bladder, interstitial cystitis, where they are poorly, but they struggle to accept the bag because it hasn't saved their life. It might have saved their head, but it hasn't. And I think it's just to keep in mind, I think it is, sometimes it's harder when you haven't been ill and you're well, or people with hospital malpractice, from had a baby and then, and to say, suddenly, but you were poorly before though, weren't you, Louise, with the Crohn's? So it's
but there was never any talk of stoma until they did what they did during that C-section.
But I think it's like when you have when you've not been ill and you have the stoma, what I've noticed is it'd be great to do some sort of survey or see, because so many people struggle when they struggle to accept the stomas. If you dig deep, they may not be ill. They may not have been ill before. And if there's somebody in particular that's really struggling at the moment, my heart goes out, and there's nothing I can really do but kind of support online in the support group. And it's like, you can't make somebody accept where they are. And I think mental health has to be treated sometimes alongside the stoma. Like, you may have the stoma, but if you've got mental health issues that aren't being treated, then they need to work together. It
needs to
absolutely.
The amount of times that I've heard about cancelling for people that are going to or have had the surgery, it needs to be done. Because
my surgeon used to ask my mum if I would go and be like a patient buddy for those going in for J pouches, and I used to go no, because I hate mine. It's all well and good hearing the negatives, but I had very little positives to give.
You see, I can see it
in my head, because I felt so. I never felt well after mine, and like everyone else could see that I had got better, but because I was still in a lot of pain, I couldn't. So, and I didn't feel like I could advocate for somebody or counsel somebody and be positive, because yes, there needs to be negatives as well when you're telling people about stuff. That's why don't lie about the leaks, which is why when BBC Scotland did the radio interview and we were talking, Sarah Russell and I were talking about swimming, the BBC Scotland cut out both me and Sarah talking about leaks. Cut it out completely. They were like, oh, that's too much information. And I was like, I was really paid off. And then Sarah was like, oh, but leaks are very important. And like Steffi said, you need to have a good seal otherwise. And they just cut all that out.
And you didn't want to hear it, did they?
People don't want to see what they want to hear.
It's like on the support groups, you'll hear a lot of scare stories. You'll hear a lot of people complaining about stuff. And a lot of the time, that's because people who are well, who have had good surgeries and gone well, they no longer need the support groups. So you're not going to hear from them, are you?
Do you know what?
99% of people with ulcerative colitis, after their stoma, are either fine or whatever and aren't in the groups. Yet it's these people that we need in the groups, talking to people that are going through ulcerative colitis and saying, do you know what? I had that symptom. This medication helped me, but this one maybe didn't. Have you thought about doing some exercise? This specific exercise helped me because, or have you tried the low FODMAP diet? Because you might find a specific food that is your trigger. Mine's onions.
Started on diets.
But I find that I don't have that many followers that have stoma and ulcerative colitis because they're not in the support groups anymore. They're not out there looking, like doing what we're doing or just talking to people.
Yeah.
Because they're fine.
Yeah.
It's not a cure because there's so many other things related to ulcerative colitis with IBD, but it's a damn good option.
It's like if I put it this way,
that's a good.
Yeah. If I put it this way, my first stoma wasn't because of my Crohn's. there was a scar tissue that exacerbated it, which helped with the bowel perforation, but the bowel perf was purely down to an inept twat of a surgeon that perforated.
You're allowed to say the word inept.
Inept. Oh yeah, I can say inept because that surgeon that did mine got sued by a woman's family who he killed 2 months later whilst I was still in that hospital. And he did exactly the same to her as what they did to me. The only difference was she got sent home early because she didn't have as many consultants involved, and she died of sepsis.
Wow.
And left her husband with a new baby. She was dead within the week of having the C-section done. So mine wasn't through Crohn's. My resection, that was just another thing that I don't want to go into. But when I had the next stoma, yes, that was more to do so with my Crohn's, but it was also due to the damage caused by the other two surgeons that had set on me in 2009 and 2012. The amount of stuff that they removed from me, and then doing that resection, I couldn't lead a normal life because of what they'd done. And it's a difficult one, because the thing is, if I hadn't have had Maisie, I probably until now wouldn't have had a stoma. Mine is purely because I chose to have a child, and just happened to have a surgeon that was a total idiot at the time. That's what's led me to today, and I can see it from both sides of the fence, because back in 2009, if you said to me then I'd be doing what I'm doing now, I would have said a lot of profanities, and I probably would have ended up somewhere in a padded cell with a straitjacket, laughing my head off and being declared clinically insane.
While we've got like literally a couple of minutes left, if people
that's gone quick.
If people have some spare monies, Louise is doing the 10k walk for Crohn's and Colitis UK, but also my friend Laura, she lost her dad yesterday morning from prostate cancer, and last year they did the London to Amsterdam cycle, and he did it with her. This year, her and her dad were going to do it, but he got hospitalised and told he couldn't go any further. But I'll share it on my personal blog page. But if anyone wants to donate to that, because she's doing it tomorrow, and I know that I think prostate cancer is a reason for people getting stomas sometimes, or if people have urostomy, sometimes it's taken away, and I don't have that, so I don't even have that part of my anatomy.
When you have a urostomy, they take when a man has a urostomy, the prostate is removed every time. When you have prostate cancer, if it's spread to the bladder, they remove the prostate as well. So if they've got bladder cancer originate, spread to prostate, be removed. Prostate spread to bladder, they're removed. So it's sort of prostate cancer.
He never got a chance to have like a urostomy or anything. He had it for about 1.5 years before it sadly took his life.
They need to lower the age limit for the PSA testing for the men for the prostate cancer, because the only time that you get tested at a younger age is if it's genetic and it's in the family.
Yeah, it's a nightmare. I was actually, the machine I was on was radiotherapy, was the machine with patients with prostate cancer, so it's very close to my heart. And I was talking to Steve, or was it Steffi? Somebody I was talking. No, it was a vet actually. And I was saying that the surgeons don't talk about, when they don't talk that you're going to have erectile dysfunction problems, and it really winds me up. Even with a urostomy, they will not mention it. It's like the prostate's going to be removed. You are going to have it, and it's why won't they mention it? Why are they so? And then it's really, I don't think it's fair. I think it needs to be talked about openly.
Because how
all the potential risks should be talked about, shouldn't they?
Sorry, what was that, Louise?
I said, but how pig-headed are men in general with regards to health and ignoring things? I think some of the reason why they may not mention it is because of the man's reluctance to go through with the life-saving op. They're doing a disservice not mentioning it, because what I'm saying is I get what you're saying, but it needs to be, even afterwards, it just needs to be mentioned, because this old guy that comes around with a urostomy, and he sort of mentioned it to me, and I was a bit like, the reason why he mentioned it wasn't out of weird. It was because Trevor had written a post for me about it,
and he saw the post and he said, nobody told me and I wondered what was wrong. And then maybe there's so many people that it's not talked about. And I think it can be, obviously, if you have any operation in that area, those nerves can be affected. But I think sometimes if somebody's having an issue, the men won't talk about having that issue, but it really impacts them. It really impacts regardless of your age, sex is natural. It's okay to talk about it. But if surgeons aren't even mentioning it and they don't even got anywhere to go, it makes me feel really sad for them. There's so many I've met at the UA or at events where they said to me, yeah, I have a problem there, and they haven't mentioned to anybody.
It's the same when they turn around and tell women that they shouldn't have the permanent stoma because they probably won't be able to have kids, and you'll need to have one of my friends got told you need to have your eggs frozen, or you need to have your children before you go in for your next surgery. And it's like, how much pressure does that put on someone's body anyway? Having kids is a very trying to conceive for kids, it's very stressful anyway. It's stressful on the bloke because they're like, oh well, my swimmer's not working. It's stressful on the woman because they're like, am I broken? You can be perfectly healthy and have issues conceiving. You can be sick or overweight and you can conceive. It took me longer to conceive Lyra than it did me to conceive Jacob, and the miscarriage after my stoma surgery, which like we've said before is permanent. Barbie, but it's not fair. They need to tell you that you have just as many, your chances may be lower to get pregnant, and for men with the erectile dysfunction thing, these are different ways and these are different supports we can offer you. Because Trevor's post was amazing. I loved reading that. I thought it was fantastic. See,
my surgeon and my consultant were totally upfront about everything. They gave all the risks.
Did they tell you the risks that could be a
risk? Yes, they told me all the risks. They told me all the risks.
Again, Ken butt surgery, that's a risk for men.
This was the last conversation I had with my surgeon and consultant, both in the room, and my IBD specialist lady. And we spoke about the risks involved. We spoke about that women's hips are wider than men's, so there's more of an area to work with. So obviously there's a risk when dealing with them nerves. He also said that if it did become a problem, then there's other ways of dealing with it, i.e. pills and, and
injections,
mechanic, and stuff like that. So the risks were, and you're absolutely right. Men do shy away from things like this. It's not something you want to talk about. It's certainly not something that you want a surgeon going near. But it's a means to an end, isn't it? And
I think
the more you know, the better equipped at dealing with stuff you're going to be. And it might not be what you want to hear.
They need to lower. They need to lower the PSA age testing. I think the age for PSA test is 50. For you to
unless you was to go in complaining about something, then they would do it then.
They did it on Steve, and a lot of people aren't aware what PSA means. A lot of people aren't aware you can get blood tests to check the PSA levels, and like my dad was a nightmare trying to get checked.
I just saw a poster at work. I saw a poster and it had like, are you going for more wheeze in the night? There was all these little things. So I thought, I'm just going to get it checked out. I know that I'm having my Ken bum soon, and I thought, you know what? Once I've had that, and how are they going to check the prostate? I thought I've got a window now to get it checked before, and they didn't actually go in with any camera. They just did the blood tests to tell whether it was enlarged and fingers crossed everything was fine. But
I think men are less like, once they've been sick and sick quite badly, they're less likely to be dicks to themselves.
Absolutely, yeah, definitely.
So that's probably with your dad, Rachel, because he's not sick. He's still pig-headed.
And for the men watching about the PSA test, I think you have to abstain from sexual activity 24 to 48 hours prior to the PSA test, as it can skew your results. I won't mention how I know it, but I deal with someone that has to go for PSA tests. So
PSA is a blood tester, so I don't see how that. I haven't heard that before.
Yeah, no, I know from personal experience that 24 to 48 hours prior that they can't.
Okay, I haven't heard that. That's interesting. I'll have a look at that because I I didn't know that they had to. But mind you, my dad wouldn't have told me that. So I haven't heard any patients say that. But it kind of makes sense actually.
The testosterone can skew the results if the raised levels of testosterone. So anyway, we've overrun. We are back. Rachel is heading next week. Natalie should hopefully be back next week as well. So yay, we'll have a full house.
We have Chris Livet joining us, who is an amazing guy. He's like got two stomas, pelvic extenuation. So we'll talk more about these issues possibly, hopefully, if he wants to. But he's just a really cool guy, and he's doing the rugby for Colostomy UK. So he's quite he's an interesting character.
Is that the 11th of July?
No, that's the event that we're going to in Kent.
Yeah, I might be working. I'm not sure yet, but I might be at work.
Oh, next week. Oh, and I'll tell you after. But Natalie confirmed she can do 2 weeks, but I could tell you that after. But so Chris will be on next week.
Okay. Well, we'd all like to say thank you for watching. We'll be back next week, and we'll say ta-ta for this evening.
Bye.
Say bye, guys.
Bye. Have a beautiful time.
Have a good Friday. It's Friday tomorrow. Whoop, whoop.